Thanks.
Microphone wasn't on. Thank you, Jim. Okay, board members. Supervisor Jurdy.
Well, I'll just start this. I think the people of Mendocino County have been very well served by both Jims, Jim Eddy and Jim Maston. I think the word gentleman is the first word that comes to mind in describing either one of them. Having said that, I do think there, with every organization or appointment, there needs to be some planning for transition and new voices. And so my preference would be to have Jim Maston be the appointee going forward, but that's, it's up to the board to do what they want.
Well, I'll chime in. Again, I'll go back to seniority at the table. You start out at the very end of the table, and the longevity of members, how long they serve, then you start moving up. And I think the Golden Gate Ridge District is at a critical time right now. And I do think it needs individuals that do have the experience. I know Mr. Maston has been interested for a number of years, but I personally support former Supervisor Jim Eddy to continue in his seat as our representative for the next 2 years. Supervisor Haschek?
Yeah, my question is about the process. So with these two fine candidates, are we looking for a motion in support of one, or how's that work?
We can only appoint one representative, and going to the agenda item, and the recommended action is to make the appointment of the director to the district board. So we have to select one or the other.
Okay. So you're looking for a motion then?
I am.
After discussion.
I will get to it. Supervisor
Are you
Williams?
looking for a motion now?
Actually, we need to go to public comment, but I was interested if you had any comments, Supervisor McCowan?
Well,
Oh, okay.
I appreciate the sense of importance over seniority. I know that does play a role. But I think I'm with Dan on eventually there needs to be a transition. And I think this would be a good opportunity to make that transition. And I'm thankful that we have two strong candidates willing to serve.
Okay, public comment on this, please come forward.
Hello, my name is Alicia Bales. I'm the president of the board of the Mendocino Environmental Center. And I'd like to mention that transportation is one of the primary concerns that we need to be grappling with the utmost speed in terms of our climate concerns. And I also commute to the city every week to work. And so it's a personal concern to me as well, because I'm in my car driving. It's expensive for me personally, but it's also expensive for the climate. So I agree that we need to have a visionary person on this board, and that it's a very important board for many of our concerns, but climate is going to be our utmost concern. And I wanted to make sure that that word gets said in the terms of transportation. And that I liked hearing from Mr. Maston about his concerns about access for people in Mendocino being able to get down there. When I heard Mr. Eddy talk about the quarter-mile gap from Larkspur, from the end of the SMART train to Larkspur, that makes the rest of it moot for me as a commuter. Getting the gap, all of the investment in the rail line stops where I actually need it to get me to the ferry and over to the city. So anyway, I agree that we need people who have more visionary, more vision to move forward, and I would consider the environmental concerns and the local concerns about being able to get down there. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else, please come forward. Seeing none, it's back to the board.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. I think we do have two very well qualified candidates willing to serve, which I appreciate. I do think there does come a time when change is warranted, but I also think there's value in continuity, and frankly, partially out of deference to Supervisor Eddy's 20 years of service to the people of the county as a supervisor for Mendocino County, and I think over 20 years of service on the Golden Gate Highway and Bridge District Board, with the understanding this would be the last term. I would nominate Supervisor Eddy.
Do I have a second? Okay, I'd like to move the gavel.
House check.
To Vice Chair Haschek. And I'd like to second the motion of Supervisor McCowan.
All right, so we have a motion to nominate Jim Eddy to
Appoint.
appoint Jim Eddy to the position of the Golden Gate Transit, what's it? District Board, is that it?
Yes, you got it.
Okay, so we have a motion second, so we're ready to vote?
By the button.
Motion fails with Supervisors Jurdy, Haschak, and Williams dissenting.
I would like to move to appoint Jim Maston to the Golden Gate Bridge District Board.
Second.
Okay, any other comment? We'll vote by the button.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, thank you. And Jim, I certainly thank you for all your years of service. You definitely have a lot of expertise. So it does make me very sad to know that Mendocino County will be at the end of the table again. But thank you.
Or the beginning of the table.
Well, it's the beginning of the end of the table. Okay.